Hey, what's up, Travel Virgin Gang? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. So I'm going to be talking kind of quiet in a little weird place. No, I'm not in your first college dormitory or anything. I'm actually out of the country for work. Some people actually know what I'm doing. If you know, you know. If you don't, well, I'll be back here soon. It's nothing to get worked up about. I do appreciate everybody's been checking up on me. I'm doing all right. Just work calls, got to pay them bills, got to get that shiny cardboard somehow. So I just wanted to talk about this. I'm going to be out of here for a little bit. No Bromeo card of the day, but I do have this. I've been playing this while I've been gone, and I've been playing Metal Gear Solid 3, one of the best games that you can play on the Vita or just in general on PS2. If you disagree, heck, you can have a bad take. That's fine with me. I want to talk about this while I was out because it is something that I do think is kind of important to the hobby, and I really don't think it's big enough that most people are going to talk about it. But it's something I saw, of course, involving Whatnot, everybody's favorite legitimate company that does absolutely nothing wrong and no one has any problems with whatsoever. It's just one of those companies, right? Well, right here we have a feature that's being discussed and something that's being used kind of maliciously. I wanted to throw it out there real quick and just kind of it lets you see this stuff, maybe put out a little bit of warning, right? So we got a nice little Instagram post here, and this is going to be about a particular person. It's about breaking Vintangla, and this is going to be a doxing event. You know, everyone's favorite thing that you like to hear when you create content. It's the fucking best, right? Oh, the worst thing that could happen, and Whatnot is having a problem with that. Go figure. I'll explain why here in a second. First, I'm going to actually read their story. Here, just follow along. You'll kind of see where it goes. I'd like to share an experience with my fellow Whatnot users. This is both to call it a generally bad person, but more so as a warning for the community. The seller sent out one of his friends into the Pokemon community to solicit Whatnot streamers who were live to let them know that the Breaking Vintangela LA, Breaking Vin. Well, that's a stupid name. I just realized what it is. It's Breaking Vintage. Vintage LA. That's. You gotta forgive me. I put an N in there somewhere where it shouldn't have been. I'm a fucking idiot. We should all go to their stream rather than the one we were in presently. We all know this is completely against the TOS, as is not acceptable in our community. So basically, they went to someone else's actual live and was like, hey, come check out this live. They have all the goods. They have the best cards. They have the heavy hitters. They have all the money over there. Go check that stuff out as opposed to this one over here. Against TOS, some people don't kind of give a shit about that stuff, as you'll plainly see. With that said, I was in a stream of a user I'd never been in when the solicitor came in. After the chat erupted into chaos, I went into Breaking Vintage LA stream to see what was happening. He was vocal with someone else who was there giving him the third degree, that he didn't give a fuck about rules or what anyone thought of him. I jumped in and told him it was a violation of TOS and grimy, not something that you should continue. His reply was more or less the same, yelling and shouting, explaining he's a black man with plenty of melanin, so no one would come after him. I disagreed, and he continued on his rant. Shortly after, he booted me from the stream. This is where normal people would have ended it, but not this guy. He and his buddies tagged me over and over for hours. They ranted about me for hours. At some point, he instructed one to buy me a gift in his bin so that he and his friends could dox me and share my address. And that is exactly what they did. His friend bought a $2 card. Fast forward a week later, I received a white envelope with the return address cut out of the label. Inside was a note from the seller. It stated he'd be in Florida for business and would love to catch up while he was there. This man, who clearly suffers from some kind of mental illness, now has my address, has threatened a woman, and this was all possible with the help of the Whatnot gift function. I reached out to Whatnot on this and not shockingly received the generic copy and paste response that they give. We will look into this. No further action is needed. My point in this post is to call out the psychopath. Guys like this are common these days. This is a warning. Get a P.O. box and stay safe. Yeah, so just straight up doxing on the Whatnot site. So this is something that Whatnot actually implemented recently. It's called a gifting function, and it's kind of weird how it works. So what it does is, like, say there's someone in your stream, right, and they have a function on. It's called the gifting function. You can select that person, you can look them up, and you can actually buy them something and send something to the address that's linked to their account. Now, I guess now what someone can do is, if they have a big old problem with you, they get the little fifis hurt, they can essentially look up your address and just send something to you. Now, what I'm going to tell you to do is something that was brought up, where can you turn it off? Yes, you can, apparently. It should be in your actual settings feature where you can toggle the receive gifts on and off. And if you don't want to do that, I would suggest getting it off. And on top of that, I would highly suggest getting a P.O. box in this day. Whatnot is a place where people that are just absolutely horrible can thrive. They can just fucking thrive there. Absolutely no problem, and no one's going to do a damn thing about it in the Whatnot space. There's too much money there. There's not enough people working at that spot. And honestly, like the card space, it's a matter of time before it just eats everyone up. I'm not surprised. You're not going to catch my ass on Whatnot. You're not going to catch me on there doing anything like that, because there are legitimate bad people on there. There are good people, but the bad people there genuinely just they go unchecked for the most part, unless like something genuinely is going to hurt their money, and unless this guy's hurting their money, they're not going to give a fuck. It's kind of crazy how they can do it though. They can literally search your username and your primary address that's attached to your whatnot account. They can just pull that up, type it in, and just send something out that way. Of course, once again, if you don't want to do that, I would suggest turning off in the settings. There is an actual way to do that. Just kind of crazy that whatnot has made it so easy for people to get doxxed and lose their address. You wouldn't think that'd be the case in 2023 or by a company like that, but it's whatnot. It's whatnot, the same place where they let titties just pop up and like no one even did anything until like people made a big old fuss about it. Scams happen there all the time. People just open cards like 2 months early and just sell them on there. Whatnot doesn't do a damn thing about it. I would stay away from that website personally, but I mean, you're more than welcome to do it yourself. I'm not surprised. I'll try to pump out. I've got a couple other topics I want to talk about. Just stay safe out there, guys. There's people are fucking crazy. People will literally just come out there and just like, if they're losing an argument, be like, oh yeah, here's my trump card, your address right here. I'm gonna send some anthrax in the mail. Like, yeah, real good move, buddy. That makes you look like a real big person out there going after people's addresses. That's some good stuff right there. That's all I got. See you later. It's a quick video. I'll try to put out a couple more while I'm here. I'm going to be here at least a little bit longer. And don't worry, I've got plenty of stuff to talk about, but that's it. See you later, virgins.